What's up, guys? Ben here, bringing you another video today. Couple of pieces of news that broke over the last couple of days about some rumored start dates for the CDL, a little bit of the CDL format, start date for Major 1, as well as some info about some GAs. So I wanted to make like a combo video, kind of keep you guys updated on what's happening, kind of going into the flank tournament, number 2, which kicks off on Friday. So let's dive in and cover those two pieces of news. All right, let me talk about the GA situation, because y'all probably saw this rotation tweet about the XM4 being GA'd, and you may have also seen Nameless posting a giant essay on Twitter as well. So here is a situation with GAs currently at the moment. If you played a lick of H, or really just hopped into public matches at a high level and picked up the Model L, you would realize that the gun is very good. So that gun got GA'd immediately, and right now I think that's like the predominant best they are in the game, and or you could slide around, you can use it as a sub. So I don't think there's really any argument the Model L being GA'd, but as you saw with the XM4, let me kind of explain the situation we're into right now. So if you watched the flank tournament on Tuesday, you probably saw that there were mostly 7 to 6 ARs, sometimes 8 ARs on the map in most situations. And the game being AR heavy is not really surprising. We get that most years before sub players can really fundamentally like figure out their routes. That being said, I think if you kind of look at kind of the data on the guns, if you kind of look at the maps that we're going to have to play, there is a little bit of issue for sub players right now being able to kind of score up in any lanes that have exposed kind of like mid to long range gunfights. Like indoors, like if you play, say, Vault, that like first hill, you can get kills with a sub, but like the fourth hill, the last hill, like if you have a sub in a hand, you're not going to be able to kill anybody crossing. Like it's impossible without smoke. So what the pros are trying to do right now is try to find within this current meta, try to find a AR SMG combo that allows for more of a 2-to-2 split. I don't think that they are permanent GAs. I don't think that any of this stuff is going to be permanent restrictions, because we don't even have a CDL rule set yet, not even a V01. So the pros 2 nights ago after the flank tournament decided to try yesterday when they played 8s in tournaments and wagers and scrims to try like getting rid of the XM4, getting rid of damage barrels, and seeing what the GPR aims meta with the Jackal, with the C9, with all the other subs, and see if it's a little bit more balanced. So we'll see. I think today will be kind of key because I think a lot of teams are going to try and do a little bit more formal scrims today, kind of going in towards Saturday. But I think the feel is to try and figure out how to get some balance out of this current meta, because we're kind of all assuming that the next weapon patch is not really going to be until the 14th of November, and there's a lot of stuff between now and then. So that's kind of where it's at. I think the XM4 GA could get walked back at some point. I think damage barrels will probably be gone for ARs. Gunfighter is a little bit of a weird one. Right now, your footsteps are really loud. So if you run Gunfighter, you either are going to get naded, which is possible because there's only 2 trophies. So they block a lot of nades. You don't get them that quick, or you're just going to be stomping around everywhere. That's kind of where the GA situation's at. I think it's more just pros experimenting, and some of the like kind of complaints I saw on Twitter from the GAs, I think are kind of misunderstanding this process a little bit, or kind of where the thinking of the pros are. And I don't really blame Nameless, because it's not like the pros are sitting there on stream kind of explaining their reasoning for why they're doing this. I feel like I'm the only one really doing it. Like, for example, Ant's saying here there are 7 ARs and we already removed 2 before an official map set has come out and teams have even started scrimming. That is egregious. I hear you on the XM4 one, but the Model L definitely has to go. If we kept the Model L in, I mean, you let me know in the comments what you think, but I think if we kept the Model L in, there'd be 8 on the map pretty confidently. That gun is very good. I think Ant makes a good point. You know, fire mods like recoil springs, extendo, I think those will definitely potentially get looked at. And so I agree with Ant on kind of his thought process there, that we don't generally play with those, and those probably attachments should be looked at. And look, I get Ant's point. Jumping straight to removing weapons is irresponsible and knee-jerk reaction, not knowing routes and strategy. Get rid of attachments and gunfighters before weapons. I see where Ant's going for with the XM4 thing. I just think, though, if you run a sub in your hand and you're playing kind of the maps that we're going to play, which are generally the bigger maps in the game, we're not going to play like Derelict Hardpoint's not going to be a map. You know, maybe Payback is, but like, you know, some of these smaller maps that you play a lot in pubs that you can run around, you know, with the sub. You square up on these outer lanes, it's just not really going to get much with the sub at the moment. And look, sub players will get better at managing the recoil, but the damage fall on them is pretty significant. There is some upside. I mean, you know, some of these subs, I think, with some tweaks, will get really good at the medium to small range, and I think that's what players are waiting on from a meta standpoint. But I think where we're at is people need to kind of put the guns back in the holsters, so to speak. I think the players are just experimenting to see what combination, at least for these launch tournaments and other launch activity, will make for more of a 2-2 split. And then like, I think once the official rule set comes out, once you get to like the middle of November, and we'll talk about the league start date in a second, I think then we'll want to get a more formal restriction rule set and then actual like formal GAs. Because I'll say right now, the last thing about the GA process, it's happening in the DM group with me and Tom that we've been using to organize the Flank tournament. I don't even think they have a functioning like rep chat yet where they're actually doing GA votes. So it's more just been like a very informal process. None of it's really that official. Not that the GA process is ever official to begin with anyway. So that's all my thoughts on that. And I think to Ant's point, just to kind of use that as a segue here, we're going to have a little bit of a wait till the CDL season starts. Expected to start on the 6th of December per CDL Scrim Intel. So I think a bunch of Scrim Intel info came out because there's either a player briefing or a team briefing. And that's why it's coming out now. But not really surprised by a December 6th start. So basically like a week or two after Thanksgiving. That's kind of where we have been the last couple of years as far as start dates. It gives about a month to really, month plus for the game to kind of really settle, for the map set to really settle, the weapon meta to really settle, the developers to make fixes because Codcaster is really broken, for the league to roll out the esports build, update their hardware, etc., etc., etc. So December 6th start, kind of about normal. Obviously, it would have been nice to use December 6th and then in the first event in December, but we take what we can get on that front. And so it looks like then the first major will be Barcelona on the 6th of February. So this kind of lines up with what I thought, right? The reporting in the last couple of weeks has been major one would be, you know, end of January, beginning of February. And we kind of avoid Valentine's Day. Maybe I would have liked that kind of last weekend in January, but 6th of February lines up to about when we've started in past years. Again, I would love for it to be a December event, but this has been about standard. So I think looking at a calendar here, let's do a little bit of calendar funsies. So bottom left-hand corner, you see December. So if we're starting on the 6th, my guess is that we get 2 weeks of qualifiers or online activity. We'll get to that in a second. And then likely a 2-week or 3-week break with the activity starting back up on the 10th of January. So theoretically, if you look at this calendar, you have 1, 2, 3-week break, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of online weekends before people got to leave for Barcelona on like the 3rd or the 4th, whenever they're going to fly out. That kind of makes sense. I don't really like the 3-week. I'm also assuming a couple of things here. The last couple of years, the CDL has done a pretty long break, right? So I'm assuming they're going to take off 2021st weekend, 27th, 28th weekend, and as well the 3rd and the 4th. So they're taking off like the weekend before Thanksgiving, the weekend before Christmas, the weekend before New Year's, and then the weekend after New Year's. That's what traditionally they have done, I think, due to like how long Activision has their holiday season. I think the 3-week break kind of sucks though, because you do 2 and then 3 weeks off, but whatever. Maybe they tweak it and they do 2 and then we get like 7 weeks of online before that first event. And that might kind of make sense for the next piece of news. Sources, this year's CDL season will have a new online system similar to the MW homestand. They will be minors and running alongside online qualifiers. So first off, don't really like the name. My guy Pleb making jokes in the comments. Shout out to Pleb. That's pretty funny. Anyway, look, I am curious to see what this looks like because this could be both good and also pretty stupid at the same time. So the good thing is that if this is like a pro-am or a full 12 team online tournament with a group stage, it goes over multiple days, a lot of simultaneous online matches, it could be really sick because it gets the teams a lot more practice before these online events, get a lot more content creation. It's great for the watch parties. It'll be really good for people to absorb content, and also will, if they get the points right, I think really balance out some of the issues I have with the online qualifiers, which you get kind of schedule screwed. The unbalanced schedule means everybody doesn't play everybody the same amount of times. You could kind of even that out theoretically. But if they are similar to Modern Warfare homestand, which if you remember were not all 12 teams, they were a 8-team format that had a double elimination bracket, and then 4 teams qualified to a single elimination bracket to determine who was going to win. If we get that format back, that's an L because that format sucked. And again, we're gonna have the same unbalanced homestand problem where people are off and on weekends, and it isn't gonna give people what they want. The draw is going to heavily affect a lot of storylines around teams and a lot of form around teams. I'm hoping this is a little bit more balanced. I'm hoping this also includes the amateur teams as well, give them competition. Probably not, I would think, because of the esports build situation, but I'm gonna wait to see how this one looks. But it's interesting to know the online format is going to be different this year, and we'll wait for a official announce, which I assume at this point is probably coming in the next week or two on this front. So yeah, that is the breakdown for all the news over the last couple of days. I'll keep you guys posted as stuff trickles out. As a quick PSA, The second Flank Invitational Tournament will be kicking off on Friday, so I'm recording this video on Thursday. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. East Coast time, we will be running that. A couple of interesting substitutions in that tournament that maybe y'all want to hear. You probably heard about it on stream, but if you haven't, I'm keeping you up. Formal will be filling in for Kenny in this tournament, so a big W there. And Envoy cannot make the tournament, so Crim 6 will be pairing up with Hydra in the tournament as a duo. So I'm really excited. You get Formal and Crim 6 coming in, and I think Damon is kind of on standby. Karma potentially if we need somebody extra. I know some of y'all want to see like Scump or Zenny. They're kind of still stuck doing the Prestige race, so I think maybe for the last tournament, if we need subs, they can be in. But for now, you're gonna see Formal tomorrow, and you see Crim 6 tomorrow. So W on that front. Make sure you tune in on my stream, Sam's stream, Tom's stream, whoever stream, the player streams. A lot of content tomorrow, and we'll see if Scrap and them can go for the 4P. That'd be kind of sick. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the video. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and as always, guys, we'll see you on the next one.